Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to create this effect of orbs spiraling upward. And so what this is just a few spheres that are following a curve that's in a spiral shape. And that's mostly done with geometry nodes. So that's what we're going to make today. So to start fresh, this and alright, so let's first start off by making our orb. To do that, let's add in a UV sphere. And let's name it 2. We're going to be making the 4 colors, 1 for each. Let's start with the blue one first. Then we're going to go into edit mode. And we just want to choose one of these vertices. Turn on proportional editing. And grab on the x-axis. I'm just going to grab it out here until right around here is good. And that'll be the trail that we have for our orb. Shade smooth it, and this is pretty much it for the model. Now we just have to add the material. Make a new material for this. Give it the same name. Delete this. And we're going to add in an emission shader. Also a clear weight and a color ramp. What this is going to do is we want the outside to be blue and then inside to be white. So we're gonna change this one to blue. There is good, and then we're gonna change this one to white. Bring the blue in around here is good enough. And then we just have to increase the emissions. So around there is good enough. Okay, so this is essentially it for orb. We just have to copy this a few more times. Let's just duplicate this. Duplicate this. And this one red. Just have to click this for new material. This one is for new material. To copy it over. Red, and we just have to change this one to red. Look at this one again. Let's make this one yellow. This makes this one yellow. Yellow like this so we can see. Right, and then we just have to duplicate this one more time for the last one, which is going to be green. Green. All right, now we have our 4 different color orbs. I also forgot to mention that you want to turn on bloom for the emission so you can get the bloom effect over here in render properties. So now that we have our 4 orbs, we're gonna use these in our geometry nodes for our spiral effect. And let's go over to geometry nodes. Like this. And we don't need this one. Alright, so first off, we're going to make a plane to use as our base. Name the spiral orb. Spiral orb. And we're going to add a new geometry nodes. Spiral orbs. So now we can start making our spiral and have our orbs follow the spiral in here. In geometry nodes, there is a spiral curve that you can just put in, which is here, curved spiral and curved primitives, curved spiral. And we can just see what that looks like here. It's the default settings. So what we want is the height, the start radius to be the same as the end radius. So it's starts off at the ground. And let's just make this a little bit wider. So make it 5. And let's add in, make it taller. 10. And let's put in some more rotations in so it's not around 6 is good. Alright. Alright, so now we have to get our orb in. What we can do is add in a input object info. And we just select our blue orb here. Actually, what this is going to do is this is going to just give us our blue orb. That. Alright, so now we have to make it somehow follow this curve, starting from the bottom up. To do that, we're going to need a sample curve and a set position node, geometry set position node. What we're going to do is connect the curve spiral to the sample curve and then the position to the position of the set position, and then the geometry of the set position is going to be the orb. We're going to have this. Now nothing is showing because it doesn't output or see the object info, the object in the spiral. And if you try to move it, it doesn't show. So now we need to capture the orb's position. So to do that, we're going to need an attribute that's in here. It's going to be a vector. And we need to get the position of the orbs. We want the position of the orb going on the z direction of the spiral. Not the z, the x direction of the spiral. So to do that, we're going to need a separate xyz. We're going to take this position, which is this attribute that we captured here, and we're going to plug that into using the x position of the length. So now we start to see part of the curve, part of the orb at least, on the spiral. We can't control where it is right now, so we need a math node to control it. We're going to add in a math node, and let's add in an add. Now with this, we can reiterate its value, and as it goes up, it's going to follow the curve. So right now it already has the x information of the object's position. We need the y and the z's to make it actually look at orbit, not just like a flat line. So to do that, we're going to need to have a vector math set to scale. And we're going to take the normal of the curve and the y position of the orb. And we need to have this added to the position of the curve. We need another vector math, which is to add it. So we're going to add these two. So the position and the scale. Scale for the y position, and we're going to put this in the position. All right, so now we have it flattened out on the y-axis, but we need the z-axis too, so we can have some depth in the orb. So if we just do the same thing, show you that, so we just copy these two. And we just have to add this in there. And we notice that it doesn't do anything. The reason being is that the z-axis is, we also need the tangent information of the curve. So we need to add another vector math, and this time we have to set it to cross product. I said after here, we need the cross product of the normal and the tangents. Now we have the curve fully as it is, and the four sides of it. And then if we do this, but you notice it's on the opposite, we're in the opposite direction. We want it to be in the other direction. So what we could do is just flip it using a transform node for the object. By using a transform node, we can flip it on the z-axis, the y-axis by 180 degrees. Now when you do this, we have this effect where orb is following the spiral. Right, so this is basically the main effect. So we just need so all we need to do for the other orbs is to copy this 4 times and just make the spiral in a different spot, so it's not all in the same spot. So to easily do this, we're going to group all these nodes that we're going to keep using the same. So that's all of these. So we just do Control G. Now that we grouped it, and what we want to do is we want to get the value of this so we can control it from the outside node. And we can also rename it here. Something that makes sense. This is basically the offset. Alright, so we just go back up. So we have this. So this is for 1. Let's name this. This is orb deform. We're deforming on the curve. Okay, so now let's to illustrate this better. I'm gonna show the spiral so we know what we're looking at. Join geometries. If we're going to join the geometry of both, now we see the spiral also. Okay, so now we just have to copy this and this, and we just have to get the, instead of the blue orb, get the green one, and we connect the same ones, and we're gonna join the geometry, both the spiral. Need to make this cleaner. Let's make a separate one just for the spiral. Then we just join both of them together. Alright, so now they're both at the same spot. So in order to have the spiral in a different spot, let's use a transform node. Rotate the spiral by 90 degrees, z-axis. Since one is minus 90 degrees, be here. So this should be, looks like it's a little too small. Let's make it bigger. Make it 10. To illustrate this better. 10. Okay. Alright, so now we just have to do this a few more times, but each time rotating it by another 90 degrees. We're going to add another minus 90. And instead of the green one, we're going to use the red one. All right, look at this again. Add in another minus 90. And we're going to make it yellow. Let's click on those together. And join all these together. All right, so now we want to have all these at the same time moving. Because you control it one by one, but it's not going to be. And also we wanted to loop, because right now it just stops at the top when it gets to the bottom. So in order to do this, we're going to need a modular mode, modular math node, and the math node, and put in modulo. Let's do this one first. Over here, we're going to connect this to here, and then we're going to have one of the values to be the maximum value for the spiral. So we're gonna have to eyeball this and then use this to move it. Alright, so now it's only going here, so we need to be more. Alright, so now it's only going half to there, so let's just go 300. Alright, so like 350. It's 400. Okay, maybe like 370 is good. So around 370. Yep. Alright, so we just have to connect all these to the same one, all of them, so they all start off the same at the same time. So now when you control this, all the orbs are going to rotate at the same time. Just like that. Right, and then we don't need the spirals anymore, so we can get rid of this one. And have this. And to make things easier, if we can control it over here on the side, you want to get the a value here in the input. So let's add this. Put this as orb offset. All right, and then you can control it here. Now we can use this to keyframe or make our animation. We go back here. Let's go to keyframe number 1, and we want to start off at 0. We fit this to make a keyframe, and then we can go all the way at the end and make a number. Let's make it 400, and we added a keyframe. So now we play this. But this is the idea of the effect. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.